Mystical Force, Volume 1, Stranger in a Strange Land, Chapter 1. The descendant of the darkness will cause the shadows to rise, and darkness will envelop the world. Then the one who is not of this world will seek out the true light within the darkness, and the shadows will open the gates to the netherworld. The true light will shine, removing all shadows from the world, while the earth seals the shadows within the netherworld for all eternity. Zolita recalled these words as she stood in the forest outside of Tikoku City, the capital of Oyashima. It was a prophecy dating back about 500 years ago. It warned of a chosen one, a descendant of an ancient shadow demon, who would bring about the destruction of the world until someone from another world came to stop them. Zolita had tried to bring this someone to this world once before. Darkness surrounded her, save for the lights of the city not too far away. The only other light source was the glowing of several magic orbs that Zolita had conjured up to illuminate the ground where she was preparing to perform her ritual. She could feel the wind blowing through her long, wavy red hair. She felt a slight shiver run across her tanned white skin. This time, she would complete the ritual. This time, the one who was not of this world would come to Earth, and this time no one, not even she, would interfere. Reaching into a large brown leather sack she had strapped to her back, Zolita pulled out a magic staff and began to recite an ancient incantation she recalled from an old book she read several years ago. As she did this, the staff started to glow and soon split into several smaller staves. With a wave of her hand, the staves floated a few feet away before planting themselves in the ground, forming a circle about 6 feet in diameter. Destiny will be fulfilled, Zolita thought to herself. All that must come to pass shall pass. She was determined to make sure that happened. She began muttering the incantation necessary to summon the one who was not of this world. The staffs started to glow, their light spreading down into the earth, shooting lines of yellow light outward and across the ground as if someone were painting a picture, crisscrossing each other and coming only to a stop when they reached another staff. Soon a glowing pentagram, surrounded by 2 bright circles of light, appeared on the ground. The outer circle emanated from the staves, while the inner circle spread out from the pentagram's points. A ring of runes soon stood between the 2 circles. "Now," Zolita said as she resumed speaking her incantation. "Zolita, stop!" a voice called out from the darkness. Zolita turned to look. She couldn't see anyone, but she immediately sensed who it was via her magic. It was Scarlet Nightwalker, her old rival. "It's pointless to hide, Scarlet," Zolita spoke. "I can sense your presence no matter where you hide." Nightwalker stepped out of the shadows. "I have no need to hide from you." It was easy enough for her to hide in such a dark forest. Her outfit consisted of a loose pair of black pants tucked into black boots with metallic coverings. She wore a kusasuri, a traditional Oyashima skirt of plates, attached to a leather belt that protected her hips and surrounding areas. Her belt also had several pouches for holding various magical items. Her top consisted of a loose, long-sleeved black shirt covered with a metallic breastplate. Her hands were also covered by black leather gloves. A dark green scarf was draped around her neck, and a black keffiyeh-like cloth covered her forehead and the back of her head and neck. A charcoal gray helmet, like the kind worn by cyclists, sat atop her head, and a black cloth with flames painted on it covered her nose, mouth, and the lower half of her face. Only her eyes were visible through a narrow slit. Not that it mattered to Zolita. She already knew what Nightwalker looked like. She recalled the day she and her master found her almost dead. Her dark skin badly burned and scarred, red and discolored from her injuries. Her head, once covered with a sea of silky, smooth purple hair, looked more like a rocky plateau, with only random patches of hair scattered between the scars across her scalp, not to mention the scar stretching from her right eye to the side of her head that managed to peek through her face mask. No wonder she chose to keep her entire body concealed. Her deformed, mutilated appearance would frighten anyone who saw her. In contrast to Nightwalker's covered form, Zolita's outfit was much more revealing. Zolita wore a loose purple tank top made of Mariposian silk. It was tucked into a pair of tight green pants, which were tucked into a pair of black leather boots. Her arms and hands were bare, save for the various ornate jewel-encrusted gold rings on each finger, and numerous gold bands running along her wrist. She wore dark red lipstick and heavy eyeshadow, drawing attention to her deep blue eyes. Unlike Nightwalker, Zolita was vain and enjoyed showing off her beauty. Flinging aside her black cape, Nightwalker reached over her left shoulder into a brown leather case strapped to her back, not unlike the one Zolita had. Like Zolita's, hers also held various magical items. "I cannot let you do this, Zolita." "You can't fight fate, Scarlet," Zolita replied. "It's predestined." "You know about the future I've seen," Nightwalker said. "If she comes here, if they meet, it will set off a chain of events that will lead to disaster." "You exaggerate," Zolita scoffed. "Besides, you're too late anyway." Zolita finished her incantation, commanding, "Bring the one who is not of this world." However, nothing happened. Zolita looked around in confusion. She turned to Nightwalker. "What have you done?" "A distraction," Nightwalker answered. "Before you even began, I cast a blocking spell on your incantation. It prevented you from casting the spell in the first place." Zolita clenched her fists in rage, and soon they were engulfed in flames. Using her fire magic, Zolita hurled magic fireballs at Nightwalker. I hope you enjoyed my reading Volume 1 of my Mystical Force saga, now available online in various book retailers. Don't forget Volumes 2 and 3 are also currently available, and Volume 4, Many Are One, One is Zero, will be coming out soon. Don't forget, if you like the books, leave them a good review online. And if you don't like them, lie and give them a good review anyway. Who's gonna know?